Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Randazzo. I look fucking gnarly today. I apologize in advance. I am joined by one of my beautiful co-hosts today. That is our very own Mr. Zolo, Mike Pelazzolo, to my left. How you doing today?
Good afternoon.
What a day we have today. This is a big day today. Not only is it election day and are we deciding who the next president of the United States is, but it's also trade deadline day. Which, that in itself, is what matters most. It's the deadline. Overall,
Zach Taylor never thought he should have been a head coach.
Zach Taylor never should have been head coach?
That's what Love Zay is saying. Zach Taylor should have never been a head coach. I don't know why the Bengals have the gall to be buyers and why they weren't sellers today. Love Zay. Did I say your name right? Welcome to the show, Love Zay. Welcome. Please, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Bengals. We'll talk Bengals. We have them on the list. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know what I was saying. There's a lot going on right now. We're running back and forth right now. Behind the computer, getting double G's for all the gooey shoots. It's Bruce the Tugboat Venditti.
Howdy.
Show your face. We want to see you. We want to see you. We're getting into it fast today.
All right, there I am. Goodbye. Gone.
First thing that we're going to do today, we're going to talk about the trades that did happen before we talk about the trades that didn't happen. All right? Overall, I think it was kind of a boring day for the deadline, personally. Couple big moves, couple good moves. I thought there was going to be more noise than there was. And I'm kind of shocked that some people didn't get moved that should have. And I'm even more shocked at teams that didn't do anything. The teams that stood pat. Zolo, overall, what did you think of the day so far?
This is usually how this day goes. It's typically underwhelming. I'll say this much. I think there's been like last year it was Halloween. There's been a push to move deadline day a little bit further, and I think you would have had more trades had this been like a week or two later. I mean, we're dead in the middle of the season right now. So there's teams that still think they're in it, like the Giants, that are not in it, and therefore they were asking exuberant prices for Azeez Ojulari, and no one bid on the 4th-round pick for him. So I'm a little frustrated about that. But yeah, there's some teams that should have been selling that weren't selling, and some teams that had no business buying as well, for that matter. And I don't think the day went as bad as you think. I think it was somewhat chaotic. I think there was 4 major trades that we can sink our teeth into. And hey, Lions made a big move. That's all that matters.
Okay. I kind of want to start out with what I thought was the most boneheaded trade of the day.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I thought was absolutely just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Yep. And can you guess which team was the one that made it?
Yeah, I can. I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys trading for Jonathan Mingo.
The Dallas Cowboys trading for Jonathan Mingo.
We didn't talk about that pre-show, by the way. I just looked at a list just to make sure.
It was, I mean, okay.
What's up, Jello? Welcome to the chat, Jello. Thank you.
Hi, Jello. Jello's cookies. I would love to try your cookies, Jello.
You know Jello. Cookies. He's a big St. Marin guy. You've seen him dub king at the front of the church before.
He has cookies?
Jello's Cookies. It's just his name.
He's a fellow Arab, and he's got cookies, so yep. I'm here for it. Okay. The trade of Jonathan Mingo to the Cowboys. 1, Jonathan Mingo's relevance this year pretty much starts and ends today.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he got traded. The Cowboys gave up more to get Mingo than the Kansas City Chiefs did to get DeAndre Hopkins. Somebody needs to explain it to me. Somebody needs to make it make sense. They essentially gave up a 4th round for Jonathan Mingo. The Chiefs gave up a 5th for Hopkins. Ravens got Deontay Johnson for a 5th. Jets got Devontae Adams for a 4th. These guys, we're not even talking about a player in the same league. Not even in the same relevance. Mingo's numbers on the year are atrocious in an offense where if he was really that good, I think he could have thrived. Overall, that one to me made no sense. Jerry Jones came out this morning and was talking about how they've loved the guy that they're trading for today since college. Don't understand it. Did not like it. I thought there was a lot of other guys out there that were probably available, and it just didn't compute for me. Your thoughts?
I think it's strange the Cowboys were. I don't know. I guess it's not strange that they're buying because they're technically not out of it. But there's bad news with the Dak injury, right? Dak's done for 4 weeks at least. I don't know why receiver was the hole that they think they needed to fill out of all of the holes. Like, you still don't want a running back. You benched Zeke last week.
The ghost of Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook hasn't played yet. You know, you're going to run it with Rico Dowdle, and you're going to try to take down the Commanders and the Eagles. It's a little strange to me. Yeah, it's strange. I like Jonathan Mingo. He was extremely underutilized. I don't know if sending him Cooper Rush's way is going to reactivate him, the college version of him.
Could this be just them like playing the long game and getting a younger guy for next year? I mean, for all intents and purposes, I'm starting to feel like the Cowboys kind of are in the process of packing it in. Today told me a lot about them.
You think that means they're packing in, even though they traded for Mingo?
Yeah.
No, I think they're going to try to make a push for it.
I don't think that moves. That doesn't move the.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It's not something they needed, but I don't think that means they're packing it in because I think their owner and their staff is delusional. I think that they're going to try and play CD this weekend. I think they should back it in and try and play for the draft pick. If I'm an NFC team right now and I saw that strong start that the North had where there was 4 teams in the playoffs, and I'm seeing the Bears fall off a little bit, the Vikings fall off a little bit, and the Packers fall off a little bit, if I'm one of those teams in the West, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals, Niners, and I'm one of those teams in the East, which is Cowboys, Commanders, Eagles, yeah, I might be thinking to myself, well, maybe we can make a push at this thing right now. Maybe we can get in and then see what happens.
It's just, that one didn't make any sense to me. Didn't love it. Why not go get the other receiver that was traded?
Maybe they tried and couldn't.
Mike Williams. His name was thrown around a lot after the Davante Adams acquisition for the Jets. And you want to talk about a better fit there. I just feel like that would have been a better fit. Pittsburgh sends a 5th to the Jets in exchange for Mike Williams. I would have liked that better for the Cowboys. That feels a little bit more real to me. I think Mike Williams getting traded was just there's too many mouths to feed with the Jets. I don't think he's a bad player. And I think he instantly helps Pittsburgh. It gives them an actual second receiver to play alongside Pickens. I'm a fan of the trade for Pittsburgh. The Jets are dead, so just collect draft capital, I guess. I feel like they probably could have gotten – it feels like they should have gotten more back from Mike Williams.
I mean, this is the going rate, right? This is the going rate for a lot of these picks. And yeah, we can play that it should have. Like, the biggest name of the day that got the biggest yield, that's the going rate, which Lattimore. It's the 3rd and the 4th. So maybe you'd think that they can get more. I'll say this much. This is another really good landing spot. I think this was one of 2 moves that Pittsburgh made today that was really good. I'm really curious about Pittsburgh. I was high on Pittsburgh. Now I'm higher on Pittsburgh. I think that this is a great replacement to Deontay Johnson if he can ball out in a certain way. I'm excited to see where it goes. Dirty Dan on TikTok says Commanders, baby. We'll get there. We will get to Lattimore, my guy. I don't know. I think this is a great. This is the going rate. I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't look at the going rate and think why the Cowboys didn't pay X. They're stupid. Whereas Pittsburgh is a good, well-run organization. They paid a proper price, and they got who I think is still a good player. I think this might be exactly what Russ needs, and it could open up the passing game a little bit more for the Steelers.
It's a perfect number 2.
Yeah,
perfect number 2. Do you put any more stock in the Steelers after?
Shout out to Angel from Brazil who just joined. Do I put any? Yeah, I do. I think I was higher on the Steelers. I think I was higher on the Steelers than you were. I was definitely. Yeah, Uncle Sam was high on the Steelers, but I think the Steelers will. I think they'll be fine. I think they're going to have a good shot to win the division. I genuinely think that. Russ has to hold serve. They have to run the ball effectively. You can't beat Baltimore unless you can run the ball effectively. See exactly what the Browns did to them last week. So they're going to have to start relying on Warren and Harris more. But if you have guys that can make plays, if you can scheme Freiermuth open, if you could scheme Pickens open, if you can scheme Washington and now Mike Williams open properly for Russ, they can run a Big Ten offense and run it all the way into, at least the second round, maybe even the championship, maybe even championship weekend. You never know. I am high. I was high on the Steelers before. I'm higher on them now.
So I want to jump back to a name you just said, which was probably the biggest trade of the day. Marshawn Lattimore to the Commanders. Bona fide corner. And we've been sitting up here all year, and every time we talk about the Washington Commanders, it's that their secondary is trash. Like, that's the biggest, most gaping hole. Really? That's all it took was gaping hole?
That's because we had episodes named Gaping Hole.
Big gaping hole. That was the biggest hole that the Commanders had. They get Marshawn Lattimore for a 3rd, 4th, and a 6th. They also sent the Saints also sent a 5th with Lattimore.
Shout out to Skibbity Spider-Man who just joined. Official Shaggy, Steelers are the scariest team in the league. They're going to go back to the 5-3 defense back in 08. Yeah, I still don't think they have the gall. We'll see what happens. The barometer on the Steelers is the Ravens times 2. We'll see what happens. I think the Chiefs and the Steelers play as well.
Honest to God, I think you might be right.
I think the Chiefs and the Steelers play.
We'll touch on that to end the show today, that debacle that was last night, because I'm sorry. I feel like every single time I see the Kansas City Chiefs play.
Chiefs go to Pittsburgh on Christmas, so we will see if you are right about that. I'm not certain. And then Freddie said everyone reacting like they're getting prime Mike Williams. No, they're not getting prime Mike Williams, and they're getting Mike Williams, who had a rough start with the Jets and coming off an injury. But do you feel better about Mike Williams in that Jets offense, Freddie, or do you feel better about him in the Steelers offense, which at least looks a little bit more functional at the moment than the Jets offense? Sorry, go back to Lattimore.
The Lattimore trade. In my opinion, that was the biggest and most impactful trade of the day. I know I'm going to be met with a little bit of resistance there because of what our hometown Detroit Lions did. But I think Lattimore instantly gives much needed support to that Commanders secondary. I don't think the Commanders went, fuck those picks. We'll give up 3 for him.
Hold on, we got to give a shout out to Andy, who's in the chat.
Andy's in the chat.
Shout out to Uncle Andy.
Andy's officially in the chat. Welcome, Uncle Andy. The Lattimore deal for me makes the Commanders a legitimate threat.
I think it upgrades them as the surefire favorite to win the division. That's what I'm talking about. If you factor in the lead that they currently have, which is a half game, if my math is correct, over the Eagles.
It is a half game.
If you factor in the lead that they currently have and their schedule going forward, right? You have to hope that Jaden Daniels holds the same serve that Stroud held all year last year. You have to hope that everyone stays healthy, because just like the Vikings and a lot of other teams, they're one pin away from pulling the plug on the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, that is the trade of the day. I think that's the best fit. It's a big need. There's still a lot of holes in the Commanders. To me, I still think they're stoppable from a lot of fronts. Like, I don't know if they could beat any of the AFC's elite. I certainly think they're the best in their division. I don't know how they would fare against the Packers, against the Vikings, against the Lions, and maybe the West. I don't know how they'd fare against the West, but I 100% feel better about the Commanders, and they might be a team that could make the second weekend after winning the division.
They have somebody now that can actually go up against CeeDee Lamb when they have to play the Cowboys. They have somebody who can go up against Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown, and it gives them a little bit of security.
It's important to keep in mind that this isn't the Marshawn Lattimore that was Pro Bowler.
That is true.
But yes, he is a good player. It's more than security, right? Yeah. This is cornerback 1 for them.
Handily.
And they've been trying to rebuild and revamp it for a while. I love drafting my boy Mike Sanistro, who's had a big year for them, by the way. It's a good fit. It's a good fit.
Great fit.
And just going over their schedule, right? Like, you're going to need him. They have the Steelers this weekend. I don't know. I wouldn't go too crazy with the way the Steelers pass the ball. Excuse me, not this weekend, next week. And they're on the bye this week, the Commanders. Then the weekend after that, they go to Philly. You'll learn a lot about the Commanders' defense that day. It's a Thursday night, by the way, so short rest. Then Dallas comes to them. Titans wouldn't worry about it. Saints wouldn't worry about it. No. So he gets to play his old team. The Commanders come to them, or excuse me, the Eagles go to them before Christmas. Then Falcons, that's a great game. And Cowboys, they have to be the favorite to win the division going forward.
They have to be. I don't know how they can't be. Philadelphia has to play out of their mind.
Backtracking a little bit based on the TikTok. Shout out to all the people in the TikTok chat. We appreciate you. Official Shaggy says Preston Smith, T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, Patrick Queen, Irving, and Peyton, best linebacker core. Yeah, we understand that about the Steelers linebacker core. And then what are you more excited to see, post-trade Steelers or post-trade Commanders? That's a game that we get to see in 2 weeks. I think post-trade Steelers for me.
I agree.
And I think okay, so you're not post-trade Commanders, but the Commanders made the bigger move in my opinion. I think Marshawn Lattimore's a bigger move than Mike Williams. Excited to see it happening. Landon is asking, looks like this is a fantasy question.
Yeah.
I got Kareem Hunt and Alvin Kamara. Do I start Kareem Hunt? Or excuse me, do I start Christian McCaffrey over Hunt this week? It's tricky. From what I understand, he's going to say yes. From what I understand, it's going to be a true split for the first couple weeks for McCaffrey, but then it's not. Once McCaffrey gets his his sea legs back, it's not going to be a split anymore. I feel like if you have McCaffrey, you're starting him, and you're especially starting him over Kareem Hunt. I don't love anything about the Chiefs' offense right now. That was a half of DeAndre Hopkins' catches were flukes yesterday. Good player. I'm not investing in anything in the Chiefs' offense though until Pacheco comes back, which should be soon. I think it should be by December.
That's what they're saying. You got Christian McCaffrey against Tampa. First week back, I'm good with it. You drafted this guy top 3, and you haven't been able to use him all year. Put him in your lineup. Put him in your lineup. Kareem Hunt's not going to win you the game. Put Christian McCaffrey in your lineup. Just do it and don't think about it. You put him in and let him go the rest of the way.
Official Shaggy is asking if we think Pittsburgh re-signs Najee or Justin. I think that they'd be better off, unless they're trying to groom Justin Fields, which I can see happening. We have a 5-year body of work on Justin Fields at this point, and I think that it's just not there. And you can see how much better they're doing with Russell Wilson, who isn't even that good. So I think that experiment might be over, but they could be sitting on him to groom him. Go ahead. You're a Justin Fields apologist. Let's hear what you have to say.
I don't think they'll re-sign Justin Fields.
Najee Harris, they're going to re-sign, though. And not only that, I think Najee Harris is poised for a monster second half of the year, and he's looked really good in their last couple games.
Yeah, and they're gonna re-sign Najee Harris. Okay.
Yeah, DeAndre
Paul,
Hopkins or Josh Downs.
Paul, real quick, Paul. I'm not ignoring you. On this show, we save the best for last.
We're not ignoring you, Paul. We're a Lions show. I'm a Lions season ticket
there.
holder. Bruce, flip to you. Show your face right now for Paul.
Yeah.
That's a Lions season ticket holder right there. And Bruce,
pink head
we're going to talk Lions. We've been waiting for this
there.
trade for 5 weeks here.
Stay with us for another 10 minutes so we can get through the rest of this, and we'll get there.
DeAndre Hopkins or Josh Downs? real
DeAndre
quick.
Hopkins.
Yeah, Hopkins.
He's going to get targeted.
I don't like anything Colts related until Richardson gets back.
Jumping back to the deadline deals. Okay. This is one that I secretly loved. In my opinion, outside of the Lattimore deal.
Can I guess it?
Yes.
Is it Tre'Davious White to the Ravens?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Khalil Herbert to the Cincinnati.
Oh, my
Bengals.
fault. I forgot about that one.
Okay. I feel like Khalil Herbert has been the redheaded stepchild of the Chicago Bears backfield for years now. And at times when he gets his starting spot, he looks really, really good. He needed an opportunity, and I think that this is going to be it. I really think he could be the answer to what the Bengals need to establish a little bit of the run game. Him and Chase Brown, it's going to be a 1A, 1B situation going forward, I think. But I think he is a perfect person to add to that backfield. I wish the Bengals would have done more today.
Official Shaggy's disagreeing with you. He thinks Herbert was crazy. They should have went after Chuba Hubbard or Miles. In my opinion, I'm assuming that's Miles Sanders. I don't think the Panthers are trading Chuba Hubbard anytime soon.
No, they probably. I'm not sure of what Chuba Hubbard's contract looks like, but it's probably extremely team friendly.
Yeah,
and I don't
he
think
looks
they're letting him
good
go.
right now. Like that's a foundational piece that they could have there.
And why trot Jonathan Brooks out there at this point and give him a massive workload in meaningless football?
That's what Shaggy said, is Brooks coming back. So maybe at that choice you trade Miles Sanders. I prefer Khalil Herbert to Miles Sanders.
On
Khalil Herbert is an excellent back. He was well suited to be in Chicago. I think he's been completely underutilized. Shout out to Steve in the chat. Welcome. Yeah, I think it's a great fit. Piggybacking off what you said, I think this was a great deal. Zach Moss went down, I think, too. I think he's on IR now, if I'm correct.
Correct.
That could be a good platoon in the backfield and provides I mean, it's not like having Joe Mixon, but it's a good platoon, right? It's something to go on. I'm just really low on the Bengals. I can't stand them at the moment. I think everything is bad, and they just beat up on bad teams. But they're very much in it. They're one win away from 500. They have a chance to go on a run here, and it's something to keep an eye on for certain.
Real quick, need a wide receiver. Who should I target on waivers? Pearsall, Noah Brown, or Ray McLeod?
So Ray McLeod's interesting because we don't know the exact status of Drake London at the moment. He could totally play. For me, it's Pearsall. I think the Niners are poised for a big second half. They utilized him perfectly in the first game without Ayuk, and I think that's only going to grow as more pieces get added back to the offense. Kyle Shanahan's really deliberate and really good about scheming guys open, and I think they're going to scheme Pearsall open going forward.
I agree. I would go Pearsall. For me, it's Pearsall all the way. I think he is going to be the guy there going forward. Obviously, Debo plays both ways, but I really like Pearsall's outlook, especially with
Derek is
what's
asking.
his name out for the year.
Derek
We're
is
getting
asking
swamped.
any info on Nico. I'm assuming that's Nico Collins. Nico Collins is eligible to come off of IR this week. They practice on Wednesdays, so we'll have a good idea on Nico Collins tomorrow. My guess is hamstring injuries there's no like linear recovery time. Everyone's different. My guess is if he's going to play Sunday night, he's going to have to get in a full week of at least limited practice. And I'm sure Nico Collins in a limited capacity against this Lions secondary is going to be very effective. But no word on Nico Collins at the moment. Dallas.
I don't think Nico Collins plays this week.
I think we know by now, right?
Yeah.
I think we'd have an idea.
2 running back questions in there. Should I trade Brees for Achane?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I
In a
love
heartbeat.
Achane right now.
And then should I trade Brees for Christian McCaffrey for Brees? No.
Oh, that's interesting.
Nope. Hold.
It's too
Drafted
soon.
too high.
It's
Hold.
too soon to say that for me. It's too soon to say that for me. I'm not committing one way or another.
Start Darnold or Purdy this week.
Man, that's a tough one. So let's look at some matchups.
Purdy against Tampa Bay, and you have Darnold going against the Cardinals. I'm starting Purdy against Tampa Bay.
I don't know. Purdy against Tampa Bay. I like the concept of the Niners after the bye.
It's not the Cardinals. Why did I just reverted back to Sam Darnold playing for the New York Jets? It's against Jacksonville. Darnold against Jacksonville.
Darnold against Jacksonville,
against
and then Purdy against Tampa Bay.
100%.
I still like Purdy against Tampa Bay.
Kareem Hunt or Tyrone Tracy Jr.?
Oh man, Tyrone Tracy is a league winner. If you got him, if you got Tyrone Tracy, you're in really good shape right now.
Yeah, you're rolling with him this week too. 100%.
Who should I try to get from Puka or Nico?
I don't know what that means.
If you have a shot at one of them, I'm taking Nico Collins. If you're not desperate and you're good enough to wait, Nico Collins could be a league winner towards the end of the year.
This turned into fantasy frenzy so fast, and I'm not complaining about it.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Start Hunter Tracy Jr. Start Tyrone Tracy.
I thought we answered that already.
Trade Hunt and Deontay for Mike Evans. Yes.
Can you stash Mike Evans? He's still a couple weeks out. He might be a month out. Can you wait until December? If you can wait until December and you can have Mike Evans for the stretch run, then yeah, I'm Mike Evans for sure.
Start Cooper, Ladd, or DJ Moore at flex. So I'm guessing it's Amari Cooper, Ladd McConkey, or DJ Moore. I'm going Amari Cooper once he's healthy.
I'm going with Ladd McConkey right now.
Ooh.
They're starting to pass the hell out of the ball in LA.
Okay, let's get back to trade talk. Keep your questions coming.
We're going to go back to those fantasy questions. We just want to talk about the rest of these trades really quickly, and then we're going to go back to your fantasy
Shakir
questions.
Sutton this week. Cortland Sutton's had 2 huge games in a row. I'm rolling with him. Trade Kupp and CMC for Dobbins and Moore. No. Hold on to Cooper Kupp and Christian McCaffrey. The best is still in front of you.
Debo and Brian Robinson for Lamar. No. Lamar Jackson's quarterback 1. He's a league winner. Keep him.
Yeah,
If he stays healthy, you'll
if you
win.
can trade them for Lamar, yes.
Who's your backup quarterback?
If you have Lamar, do not trade him.
Yeah.
I have Puka and Nico and Scary Terry. Should I try and trade for a different wide receiver? No, you're good. You're good. Nico Collins is a week or 2 away. Hold. Trade Brees for CD. I'm 7-2 and can afford to wait on Dak. I also have Adams and don't want 2 Jets.
Yes, if you have Christian McCaffrey, you're starting him this week. Sorry.
Yes, I would trade Brees for CD right now.
I would trade Brees for CD right now as well. CD stock goes, well, hold on. Cooper Rush is good, but I still like Brees Hall's value going forward better than CD Lamb's outlook over the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, but he has Devontae Adams and doesn't want 2 Jets.
Trade Devontae Adams.
That is true. I would shop Adams. DJ Moore or MHJ?
Uh,
Marvin Harrison Jr. Oof. You got to go DJ Moore. Marvin Harrison's in a slump right now. You got to see it first.
Things are just weird over the last 2 weeks for Chicago. It's just been a really rough 2 weeks. I think they get back on track. I'm not as invested into all the chaos as everyone else is. And DJ Moore is still Caleb Williams' favorite target. He's still the best receiver on that team. So if I have DJ Moore, I'm taking him over a lot of people. But I'm desperately awaiting that Marvin Harrison breakout that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. We're going as quick as we can here. Drop or keep Bateman and Keenan Allen for the trade that didn't happen. Adam Thielen. Keep Bateman because I don't think that his role is going to be impacted much. Keenan Allen just stashed for now. I'm not very high on Adam Thielen at the moment. Week 10, sit one down. Dell, Mooney, or Hopkins. I don't know because they're all hot. I would, if you have to sit one, probably Mooney, because if Nico Collins doesn't play, I think Tank Dell's going to have a big day against the Lions.
Dell, Mooney, or Hopkins, you have to sit one.
Yeah.
It's going to come down if Drake London plays or not, in my opinion. If Drake London plays, that hurts Mooney, but he might not play. So if that's
and if
the
Nico
case,
Collins plays,
yeah,
that's a game time.
Though, in fairness on Nico Collins, it's a game time thing, but the Lions have given up 6 total receiving touchdowns on the year, so I think they're going to do a good job of jamming Nico Collins. Just my opinion.
There's a really good one here. Does Ferguson still have value even though Dak is out? I think Ferguson has more value now that Dak is out.
I do. I agree with that.
Cooper Rush is going to hit the tight end.
He's a great safety blanket. And Ferguson had they had like a 4-minute drill where Cooper Rush looked really good the other day, and Ferguson was targeted pretty heavily, in my opinion.
Trade Tyreek for Jamar Chase, yes.
Yeah.
Should I do T. Higgins and Brees for Devon Achane and Myers?
T. Higgins and Brees Hall for Devon Achane. Myers. No,
I wouldn't do. I'd hold on to T.
Yeah.
I traded Devontae and Dak for Nico Collins before Dak got injured. That sucks. I feel very sorry for you. Devontae Adams or Devonta Smith?
Devontae Smith going forward.
Agreed.
Especially if A.J. Brown's banged up.
Chase Brown or Monty? 3 things are guaranteed in life: death, taxes, David Montgomery anytime. Play Monty. Especially now that they have another running back. I think Chase Brown's going to go down slightly.
Downs and Pollard for Mixon, yeah.
Yes,
I'm buying Joe
Mixon
stock right now. I'm buying a lot of Joe Mixon stock right now. They have a very run-friendly schedule going forward. It seems that the offense is going through him while all these guys are injured, while Diggs and Nico Collins are out. If you can do that, and even still, even with those guys there at the beginning of the year, the first 2 weeks, they were relying heavily on Mixon. So go ahead and get Joe Mixon if you can.
YouTube chat. Najee, Mooney, or Flowers at flex?
Najee, Mooney, or Flowers at flex? I'm going with Flowers right now.
So am I.
Yeah, Najee's a close second, though. I had to think about that one.
Najee Harris or Josh Downs in flex? Najee Harris.
Najee Harris.
I traded Josh Jacobs and Drake London for Kamara and DJ Moore. Is that solid? Yes. Kamara's one of those guys where if you could trade for him, you do it in a heartbeat. Somebody just said in the chat, Adam Thielen just got traded.
I'm looking right now. I don't think he did.
Drop Michael Wilson for Quentin Johnston. Yes.
You are frozen on TikTok.
Does CMC play? And if so, should I start him? Yes, if he plays, you start him. Trade Cup for Monty and Devonta Smith. That's tough.
Yeah, I would do that.
I would do it too. I would trade Cup for Monty and Devonta Smith. And our TikTok just decided to take a poop on us. But keep the questions coming because I can still see them. So just keep answering them. We're going to jump back to deadline talk for a minute.
Is the sound still coming through?
I will check.
I don't think so. No, it's totally on lag.
Damn.
We can reset it.
Reset it.
Or maybe pausing it. Pause. Continue.
Okay.
Anyways. Go back to the trades real quick.
That was a we just got swamped on TikTok. So, what does that say, Bruce?
Live pause. Viewers can't watch us live at the moment.
Why?
I paused it just because it was frozen. I thought maybe you could resume it.
But now it has to stay
Cam
off
was-
for 4 minutes. Oh!
No, what?
Oh! Are we back? Are we back?
No.
Okay. Getting back to Bruce is going to work on that. Are we still good on YouTube?
We're still.
You
good.
guys still
We're
see us on
good
YouTube?
YouTube is all set.
It looks like our Wi-Fi is starting to lag a little bit because the quality's way down on YouTube at the moment. So, Let me take a couple devices off of Wi-Fi and let's get back to
Wi-Fi is good.
the deadline talk. That was wild. That was fantastic.
It
You guys
won't
need to
even
keep
let
the
it-
fantasy questions
It won't
coming.
even end. It won't even let me end it.
The live is no longer available. What the hell? Okay. Jumping down here, I want to talk about this Packers trade. The Packers sent defensive end Preston Smith to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, Pittsburgh got a wide receiver and a defensive end today. How do you, one, Zolo, explain me why the Packers would trade Preston Smith? And two, do you like the fact that Pittsburgh went and tried to bolster the other side of their defense?
So it sounds like, okay, so the Packers brought in Jeff Hafley this year to be their defensive coordinator, and they've pivoted to running a bit more of a 4-3, right? So he was the odd man out. Lucas Van Ness had stepped in, and then Rashad Gary is at the other end. So he was a backup. And on top of that, he's not in a scheme that fits him as well. Whereas the Steelers are running a 3-4, and he's going to be a depth piece for them, but he fits pretty good in Pittsburgh. He fits better than how things are going in Green Bay. So I think this is a great little steal for Pittsburgh. I thought they had a great day, and this was part of it.
I agree. And the compensation made sense too. I thought it was a very, very, very nice ad for the Steelers. Just
Yeah.
keep your high point right now is your defense, and you just keep adding to it. Now
We're back on it. We're back.
let's see if Carl G is
We're
still in the chat here. The Rams traded Tre'Davious White to the Ravens. Tre'Davious White, that was a name that flew around a lot this week. Couple things. One, the Rams are in position to win the division. Are you surprised at all that they made this trade?
No, he had been a healthy scratch, hadn't he? Like he hadn't
The
really.
last game he was.
No, I'm not. I'm not surprised. It's a good deal. They had been shopping him, from what I understand, and that's a good little get for them, in my opinion.
I agree.
That's a good get. He's also depth there, though, as well. He's likely depth, but we talked about this 2 weeks ago. What's been the one hole on the Ravens?
The secondary
entire
has
season- the secondary.
not been what it always was.
Yeah.
And I think that's massively impacting why they're not putting away games the way that they did this week. But the last one for the day before we get into the big one of the day, the Texans traded defensive tackle Khalil Davis to the 49ers.
Yeah, I feel like the Niners were looking for a depth tackle piece. We had heard about it for weeks, and this was the buzzer beater of the deadline, and it came in, and just depth. And I think the Texans could afford to move some depth too. I think Johnny Newton's coming back, Jershawn Newton, or he's already back, but just a depth move for the Niners. I wouldn't read too much into it.
Jumping back to TikTok real quick, trade Cooper Kupp and Monty. Trade Cooper Kupp for Devonta Smith and Monty. We answered this right before our stream went down. Thanks for sticking with us. Yes, I would trade Cooper Kupp right now for Monty. And as hot as Devonta Smith is, I'm doing that deal. And everybody might look at you sideways, but death, taxes, David Montgomery anytime.
Thoughts on Deontay Johnson? It's too early to give any thoughts on Deontay Johnson. It was too soon to integrate him into the offense last week. No, I wouldn't look to trade him away. It's too soon. You don't know what you got. The problem with the Ravens offense, and it's the same argument as the likely Andrews argument from the beginning of the year, they like to throw the ball around and get it all over the place, which makes it really tricky to predict where it's going to go. So I wouldn't. It's too soon to do anything with Deontay Johnson. That's my take. I wouldn't trade him away until you know what you have. You probably couldn't even get value for him. If someone's offering a good deal for Deontay Johnson right now, and they're offering you something nice, yeah, go ahead and trade him away.
Okay. Before we get into the Lions talk, we're going to hit some of these fantasy questions. Should I start CMC if he plays? Public service announcement. You drafted Christian McCaffrey in the top 5. No questions asked. You have waited 3 months for him to come. You are playing him. No questions asked. Play Christian McCaffrey. He's not going to win you the game this week, but you're playing Christian McCaffrey. Dolphins fan here. Do you think DeMar Hamlin is a dirty player? Zolo.
No.
I need a wide receiver and have good running back value. I believe this is the same person that asked what receiver he should target in exchange for Brees Hall. Is there somebody that comes to mind that you could go 1-for-1 for Brees Hall for?
A wide receiver?
Yeah.
And you probably need top 20 value going back, if my math is correct. Man. Maybe like CD Lamb, just based on draft value where you got them. But if I'm Brees Hall, or if I'm the guy who has Brees Hall, that's the guy who I want. Maybe Jamar Chase. You can try and get someone on Jamar Chase. At this point in the season, it's kind of late. You can try and buy low on someone that's and group it together with another running back. Like Mike Evans, I think, is someone that's poised to have a big second half.
I would start to think about selling on the Jets, personally.
We're not Jets guys.
No. I would start to sell on the Jets. Moving here. Everybody in the TikTok chat, thank you guys so much. Keep the questions coming. We're moving as fast as we can. Would you trade Chase? Would you trade Jamar Chase for CD and Pacheco?
That's a long play.
I don't think I would right now because I don't know if I.
If you need wins, no, you're not doing that.
No.
If you don't need wins and you're just doing that for what's down the road, what's coming, then yeah, go ahead. You could stash those guys. We're at the point in the season where, personally, in all of my leagues, the standings are close in almost every league that I'm in. But there are some teams that are like 8-1 or 7-2, and that have commanding leads in their league. And if you're that team, you could start positioning to sell yourself for down the road for December and making sure that you have really good matchups at the end of the year in week 14, 15, 16, 17, whenever your championship is. You can start thinking about that now if your team has a good record. So in this instance, if your team does not have a good record, right, and you need to get wins now, no, I wouldn't make that deal.
Should I drop McConkey for Waddle?
No.
Hold Lad McConkey.
Nope.
I never thought at the beginning of the year I would be saying this. Hold Lad McConkey.
He's a target machine. He's the next Cooper Kupp, is Lad McConkey.
Do you start DeAndre Hopkins, Marvin Harrison, or Amari Cooper? I feel like we got this twice already. Marvin Harrison's not in that conversation for me right now. I would start either Amari Cooper or DeAndre Hopkins.
It's going to be matchup based.
Yeah.
Listen, if Cooper's healthy, if his wrist is fine, and Keon Coleman's out long term, it's Amari Cooper.
It's Amari Cooper against the Colts versus DeAndre Hopkins against Denver, and I'm going to take Amari Cooper against Colts. Let's see here. Is Lamb cooked? No, but you're not going to get top 5 production from him. Well, you have Cooper Kupp in there. I don't think, at least. Trade Hockenson and Wan'Dale for Brees Hall? Absolutely. Do you agree?
What was the trade again?
Hockenson and Wan'Dale for Brees Hall.
Yeah, if you can do that.
If you can pull that off.
You can do that.
Who do I look for on Adams? I have Evans on IR and Puka Nacua. I would try. I mean, if I'm guessing if your wide receivers look like that, you need to upgrade at running back. I would look for a sneaky mid-tier guy. Like if you could trade Devontae Adams for like a Rashad White, I think that I don't hate that. If you could package Adams with something else for a James Conner, I don't hate that. Speaking of James Conner, we had a James Conner question in here. Should I pick up James Conner's handcuff? Yes, the DiMacario guy.
He's popping off. We had this conversation yesterday.
Yeah, I would try and pick up DiMacario. Trade J.K. Dobbins and Devontae for Bijan.
J.K. Dobbins and Devontae for Bijan.
No.
I don't know. If we're talking about Devontae Smith, I really like him going
So
forward.
do I. But if it's Devontae Adams, does it change your mind?
Yeah.
I'm going off Devontae Smith right now. I could be wrong. I'm getting offered Amon-Ra and Ramondre for Kamara and Debo. Yes or no?
Amon-Ra and Ramondre. I don't know.
Kamara will win you the league, dude.
Kamara and Debo. And I think Debo has a shot. When Debo plays, he's automatic sometimes.
Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones for Tyreek Hill and Kyren Williams.
Justin Jefferson.
Hold Justin Jefferson.
And Aaron Jones for Tyreek Hill and Kyren Williams.
Yeah.
I don't love Tyreek Hill at the moment for some reason.
Either.
But you might want to separate your Vikings. And Justin Jefferson, I think, is the Viking that I want. So you might want to see if you can get something for Aaron Jones. Like, I don't know if I'm packaging him with Jefferson, but Listen. I think you have the better end of maybe both of those deals at the moment. But Kieran Williams is very good. Find a way to get Kieran Williams without having to give up Justin Jefferson. That's what I would tell you.
Would you trade Lamar and Debo? Would you trade Lamar for Debo and Brian Robinson?
I thought we answered this already, or something similar. If you have Lamar Jackson,
You're not.
you have to have a good second option because he is QB1 and he is a league winner at the
Correct.
moment.
Chase Brown or Brees Hall? Brees Hall. Wow, this is. I'm trying to keep up here, you guys. Kareem Hunt and JMO for Aaron Jones.
Kareem Hunt and JMO for Aaron Jones. I'm going with Aaron Jones. I like that.
I would take that deal.
I would want Aaron Jones.
JMO or Jennings. This rest of season.
Jennings isn't he on IR right now?
Yes, he
Jennings?
is.
No,
I'm
then
sticking with JMO. 100%.
It's JMO. JMO's boomer bust potential, right? But he's got like a 50-yard reception every game he's played in, and then half of those games he's got a touchdown.
Did I lose this trade? I gave up Bijan for Kelsey and Debo.
I don't know. I
don't
like
think
Kelsey.
you lost it.
I like Kelsey long term.
So do I. I like Kelsey the rest of the year.
And I always love Debo.
Should I start A.J. Brown and D-Hop or A.J. Brown and Zay Flowers?
AJ Brown and D-Hop or AJ Brown might be out this week.
Yeah, you might be starting D-Hop and Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Devontae Adams and Dobbins for Bijan. I don't need wide receivers. If you don't need wide receivers, then sure. Yeah, do it. You can get Bijan for those two. I would do it in a heartbeat. Let's see. What just happened? What was that?
Did someone just send us snacks? And
Somebody
pizza?
just sent us a bunch of snacks. Thanks for the snacks. Traded Hunt and Deontay for Evans. I now have that's gone.
That was actually me.
Oh, you sent us snacks? Will CMC play this week? I think CMC plays.
It sounds like he's gonna play.
I think
Make,
CMC
like,
plays this
flames
week.
come
Okay.
out your arms.
Trade Lamb, Reed, and Bigsby for Mixon, Brown, and Downs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
I would do that. Sell low on Bigsby, sell high on CeeDee Lamb.
Trade A.J. Brown for T. Higgins and Jonathan Taylor. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
AJ Brown's banged up.
Okay. Let's take a second here. Stick with us. We're going to do some Lions talk. Stick with us for 1 second. Let's get through the next 5 minutes talking about the Za'Darius Smith trade today, what it means for the Lions. We've been waiting for this as Detroit Lions fans for over a week now. Let's talk about it for a minute. Stick with us, and we will jump back to your fantasy questions. We've got about a half hour left here. Za'Darius Smith is officially a Detroit Lion. All of us kind of thought that this was going to happen. It finally did. We were throwing it around yesterday. It's not really who we wanted, but it was. You said on Friday's show this was the most realistic scenario, and I think that it was. So with that said, how do you feel, Zolo, about the Za'Darius Smith trade?
I feel good. I'd feel a lot better if there was another addition. To me, I mean, of course, he was the best pass rusher on the market. You got him. You got him at a great price. It was a good deal. The reason it took so long is because Brad Holmes waited in hopes of not overpaying, and it worked out. I'm not looking at Za'Darius Smith as a pass rusher at the moment because I don't know how much of his production is going to be tied to what Myles Garrett was doing across from him. But he's top 15 in the league in pressures. He's top 20 in the league in sacks. Most importantly, he could set the edge, right? You've been gashed the last 3 weeks on the ground, and he sets the edge. This is going to be really helpful for that's one of the major holes on the team, if not the only hole on the team, is the Lions have the 16th ranked run defense. It's been bad the last couple weeks. This helps that. Even if he doesn't get to the quarterback, this is going to help that, which is why I really wish they would have brought in a guy like Ojulari opposite him to get to the quarterback, but it didn't happen, and I will live. But, yeah, this was a good deal. He was the best pass rusher on the market, and who knows, sometimes a change of scenery completely rejuvenates a guy, completely, 180. And maybe that happens here. Maybe this opens up a lot for that defensive line. Maybe you get Pascal back healthy, and it opens that up as well. He's a little aged, right? He's 31 or 32, if I remember correctly. 32. But he's what they want. He's speedy. He can play all downs. He can play on the inside if they need him to move him on the inside. He gets to the quarterback. He gets the hurries. He's good in run protect. And he's big. He's got a big frame. He's 6'4", and that's what they like. They like big body guys, not like the elusive, speedy, couple swim move type guys. So I think this is a good deal as the best guy in the market. It would look a lot better if they got him a compliment, if that was Carl Granderson or Arden Key or Chase Young. Like, I really wish they would have made a run at Ojulari. I would have put in a Super Bowl future if they had gotten Ojulari, because I would feel extremely confident about the Lions defense.
You're not putting in a Super Bowl future with Zadarius Smith at?
No, I feel good. I feel really good. And this was a hole, but you got to remember, they lost Kaminsky. They lost Davenport. Pascal's injured. They lost Hutchinson, right? They lost a lot of guys. And doesn't really move the needle.
You don't give a shit about the compensation, right?
No, the compensation's great. You got him for a late day 2 or a mid day 3 pick. Excuse me. And I think that was the sticking point with why it took so long, is everyone thought they were going to require a 4th, and they didn't end up needing to give up a 4th. That being said, I would have paid that 4th for Ojulari, and people are calling him a rental, but they would have signed him. I think the Lions would have signed him. They might still sign him, but when you're in position to win a Super Bowl, like the Steelers, who might not even be in position to win a Super Bowl, were aggressive as hell today. The Bengals were aggressive as hell today. I wish the Lions would have done a little bit more, would have added one more body to that room. But who knows? Maybe they feel good about getting Kaminsky back. Maybe there's something we don't know on Hutchinson. Maybe they think Hutchinson will be back by January. We'll see.
Shout out to Luke Russo in the chat. He got the Lions at plus 1,200 before the season. Good for you, bro.
Good for you, Luke.
Good for you. Good for you. You can ride that one all the way to the house. Okay, some trades that didn't happen. What were you surprised to see that didn't happen? I'm shocked T. Higgins didn't get traded. The Bengals must really think they're going to make this run.
For me, it's Ojulari. He was a no-brainer. A lot of teams needed edge rusher help. And I thought even before some guys went, Ushi and all that went to the Chiefs, I thought Ojulari and Zadarius Smith, but Ojulari was one of the best guys on the market. I'm disappointed that some teams, we had this conversation before the show, we just had this conversation, but for those that missed it, this isn't late in my opinion, which is why you had so many teams standing pat. This isn't late. Last year the deadline was Halloween. They moved it a couple days to today. We're only in the middle of the season, so a lot of teams think that they're still in it, and they're not. They're not in it. And then there are some teams, maybe one or two, that are going to emerge that aren't in it at the moment, but that could be. In my opinion, a later deadline suits that a little more. I'd like to see a later trade deadline next year, like the NHL's trade deadlines first week of March, so teams that know that they're out of it at that point in time. And I know that there are teams that are out of it, like the Giants. Like, that was bad management on my part, in my opinion, on the Giants' part this year. You're not in it. You're a 2-win team. You're not very good. You're going to rebuild toward the future, if not get a quarterback. And the Giants went out and stood pat instead of we want our price. That's just stubborn. That's just really stubborn. The Bengals, okay, yeah, maybe mathematically you're in it at 4-5, okay? Maybe you do go on a little bit of run and you become a playoff team, right? You're not winning the division. You're not better than the Bills. You're not better than the Chiefs. You're not better than the Ravens, right? You're probably not better than the Steelers. I don't know why you're not selling, right, and rebuilding, do a little rebuild on the fly like the Bills have done over the last 2 years. And now look at the Bills. They were the laughing stock at the beginning of the year, and they're in it. And that could have been you, And someone mentioned earlier in the chat, whoever it was, shout out to you, you mentioned that Zach Taylor shouldn't be around and should have been fired. Agreed. I think they need to restart and rebuild this thing without Taylor. And maybe that includes trading T. Higgins, to your comment. Trey Hendrickson, I don't know why the guy's going to walk. He hates your owner and hates your team. He's going to walk away. Why did you keep Trey Hendrickson? Little stuff like that. And then, of course, the teams that hung on to their franchise guys that are just going to get traded down the road anyways because it takes longer than a year to rebuild a team. Would have been nice to see a guy like Myles Garrett move. Would have been nice to see Max Crosby move, but they weren't available. Their owners want them where they are, and it just is what it is. But we can go through a list of names that Thielen's a name that I thought would get moved. I thought Adam Thielen would have ended up somewhere.
100%.
Pittsburgh, Dallas. I thought there was a shot at Travis Etienne. I think Travis Etienne could use a change of scenery at the moment. little guys here and there. No one major, though. I didn't think anyone major was going to go anywhere today, but yeah,
Who's the winner of the day?
the Steelers.
Without question.
The Steelers made 2 great moves.
If you had to pick 3 winners, who are they?
Steelers, Lions, and then Steelers, Lions, and Commanders.
Loser?
The Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys, baby.
The Cowboys.
Oh.
Just going back and opening up all of the trades, right? Like just adding more trades into the mix. I thought the Ravens could have been a little bit more aggressive. And then I don't know, you can call the Jets losers because that experiment just hasn't worked.
It has not worked.
Devontae Adams wasn't the answer there.
Can we jump to TikTok real fast?
Yeah.
Okay. I traded Tyrone Tracy and Tank Dell for Najee Harris and Debo Samuel. Was that a winner or a loss?
No, I like that.
I do too.
I like all 4 of those players.
I know. Those are 4 good guys. It was a 2 for 2. It was fair. Everything worked out well. I don't think anybody lost or anybody won. I think it was just a good deal. If you got 2 guys that you like more, you should be happy about it.
The problem is the highest upside in that deal is on Tracy, but you're getting Najee Harris is excellent, so you should be fine.
You're getting consistency.
Yeah.
Please, I need help. I give Hall and Pittman for Sutton and Devonta Smith.
No, I don't want anything to do with Cortland Sutton. I like Devontae Smith, but
Cortland Sutton's name is being brought up a lot in fantasy right now. He's had very good 2 weeks. I would not trade. I would not include Breece Hall in a trade where you're acquiring Cortland Sutton. You're dealing with 2 different class of players. There's got to be a better option out there if you're giving up Breece Hall than Cortland Sutton and Devonta Smith.
opinions on James Cook. The Bills will only be able to go so far if they can't effectively run the ball. And once they get back to running the ball how they were at the beginning of the season with James Cook, and I think he had a little bit of an injury. Once they get back to how they were running it at the beginning of the season, things should trend in a positive direction for the Bills.
Shout out to your mom. Your mom in the chat.
Some food.
What?
I'm pretty sure your mom donated some food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some coins.
Yeah, your mom gave us 5 roses. I have no idea what that means, but thank you for the bouquet.
Thanks for the roses. Thanks for the coins.
How do you feel about this trade? CD and Dobbs for Mixon and Jacoby. Your mom, I appreciate your flowers, but I do not like your trade.
I think my guess is you're playing for Joe Mixon there. You probably needed Joe Mixon. I don't know. I could see a scenario where if you're just evaluating 1-to-1 CD for Joe Mixon, that's probably a good deal in the short term. It depends on your team. I don't know if you could afford how badly you needed Mixon and how much you could afford to lose CD, but I don't know. I guess I like it for Mixon.
Shout out to Joe, number 1 in the chat. Opinions on the Jets? They're done.
The third person isn't here right now who would defend the Jets. They're toast.
They're done.
Stick a fork in them.
It's over.
They have to go on a generational run to make some noise right now, and they're not capable of doing it. The whole franchise is in disarray. Strip it to the studs.
Hey, Brett P4. Should I start A.J. Brown and D-Hop or A.J. Brown and Flowers?
A.J. Brown's banged up.
A.J. Brown is banged up. If he plays, you start him and Flowers. But I would start D-Hop and Zay Flowers.
You got to keep an eye on A.J. Brown at the moment.
Those are 2 great guys. Opinion on Zay Flowers, D-Hop, Drake London, Nakua. London's probably not going to play this week. Nakua's banged up. I don't know. It's Brett P4 again. I would go Zay Flowers and Nakua if Nakua plays. I traded Neighbors for Pickens and Zay Flowers. I like it right now. I like that deal right now. I think you got 2 guys who you can play every week and not have to worry about. I don't mind it. Some people are going to think you're crazy for trading away Neighbors. Do you think he's crazy for trading away Neighbors?
Not right now.
Not right now. I'm good with that. Drop CJ Stroud if I have Mayfield and Stafford. Yeah. Fantasy-wise, they're both better right now. What should I do with Tyreek Hill?
See if you could trade C.J. Stroud.
Somebody will bite on a Stroud trade.
Yeah.
Somebody will bite. What should I do with Tyreek Hill? Trade him.
If you can get a good deal for Tyreek Hill, then trade him.
Trade him. I packaged Hill and HM for Saquon Barkley this week, and I'm very happy about it. I have Kenneth Walker, HN, James Conner, and CMC, you must be in he's in a 12-man league, and Pacheco. With Mike Evans out, who should I get? Well, who are you keeping? Because you have top five running backs. Pacheco, you have to wait on, and nobody's going to buy on him right now, I don't think. Christian McCaffrey, you're not going to get anywhere near what you need to get back for him at this point in time. So I'm playing McCaffrey. Between K9, Achane, and Connor, who are you keeping?
Kenneth Walker.
So start CMC, Kenneth Walker, and then between Achane and Connor.
Achane.
And Achane. I would try and package James Conner and Pacheco together and just grab something because you don't need either of those guys going forward. But Mike Evans is only going to be out another week, so I wouldn't get too hasty there. Jonathan Taylor for Christian McCaffrey? No.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Not right now. You don't know what you got, McCaffrey. You right?
Debo, Drake, T-Mac, pick 2.
Terry McLaurin and Drake London.
Yes, but if you got to watch Drake London. Watch Drake London. Bro, you don't understand how hard it was for me. I'm a Giants fan, bro. I feel bad for you. I'm sorry. Planning on keeping K9 and Achane for sure. You're on the right page. Do it. Just get it done.
Achane could end up being a league winner.
Pacheco and Dobbins for K9?
Pacheco and Dobbins
Yes.
for Kenneth Walker.
Yes.
Yeah, I would do that.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
You're selling high on Dobbins. If you could fleece someone on a Dobbins trade, as much as I love Dobbins, I think they're gonna. It's a Jim Harbaugh team. It's a true split in that backfield. So yeah, I would sell high on Dobbins if you can.
Evans is not returning until week 11. Well, we're going into week 10.
Well, that's when he goes. That's when he comes off IR. That's when he's eligible to come off IR. It might even be later than that.
Ramondre and Jackson Smith and Jigba for Chase Brown. No. Hold Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah,
hold him.
He could be trending in the right direction
You
right
hold
now.
him forever. Sorry, YouTube. We haven't been with you in a minute here. How do you all feel about this trade? CD and Dobbs. Oh, we answered that one in the TikTok. Wow, you guys are watching us on 2 platforms right now? Shout out to you, real_. Love it. Worth it to trade Kupp and Hunt for Evans?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Hunt's value diminishes to 0 for playoffs, in my opinion. So you're trading Cooper Kupp for Mike Evans.
I just like Mike Evans.
I like
think
Mike Evans,
when he gets back, like I'm looking how.
And there's no Chris Godwin to take target share.
I was just gonna say, and I'm watching Baker play right now, and he looks so good and so comfortable and so confident. I have Kate Otten in a league, so yesterday was very good for me. And Mike Evans he'll thrive when he gets back. Mike Evans, if he's 100%, like he will fit right in, like he didn't miss a beat in that offense.
Should we talk about that game real quick?
Yeah.
Now that we have a moment.
Yeah.
Actually, we don't have a moment.
We can talk about that game real quick and then call it. Listen, to all the fantasy questions, we appreciate them. We're back on Friday. Ask us on Friday. Come ask us on Friday.
If we don't get to you today, please come back on Friday. Hopkins and Pickens for Nico? Yes. Nico Collins was wide receiver 1 when he went out? Yeah. I'm doing that. Traded Hunt and Deontay for Evans. I now have Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Garrett Wilson, Evans, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Higgins. Raider Nation Raw. Good for you, bud. That's a fantastic wide receiver core. Start Stroud, Kyler, or Russ.
Oof. That's not easy. Honestly, Kyler. I think he's got the most friendly matchup this week.
I think he does as well. I would go with Kyler this week, but you're week to week on quarterbacks. To Lorenzo, asking about the Chase Brown start. Yeah, but Chase, I'm a firm believer that Khalil Herbert's going to take some of that target share. I know Zach Moss is out and Chase Brown is running back 1. I'm a firm believer that Khalil Herbert's going to end the year as the running back 1 there. Downs, Tillman, or Sutton? Listen, Cedric Tillman. Like Cedric Tillman.
Where's Uncle Sam?
Cedric Tillman.
Those are his 3 favorite players in the league.
I know. Not Downs. Who do they both play? You have the Colts against the Bills, and then the Browns against.
Sutton's the hottest of the three. I think Downs is the highest upside. Either way, you have a bad decision. Trade all three of them for someone less bad.
Who do the Browns play this week? Oh, they're on a bye. Sweetheart, play Sutton. Call it a day. Okay. Hawkinson or Hunter Henry?
Hunter Henry.
Honestly,
right now.
Hunter Henry. He's
right now. Hunter Henry.
Okay. Let's talk about last night's game. Stick with us. Keep asking us questions. We're coming back to them. Last night's game, the Buccaneers went to Arrowhead and played the Chiefs. And I don't know how many more times I can say this year that the Chiefs have not soundly won a game yet, and I'm not a fan of them, and they're doing it with smoke and mirrors, and I don't like it. And Jesus, they're 8-0, and it just makes me want to rip my hair out to watch them play because every single game they get outplayed by teams that are not as good as them. And they did last night. They got outplayed and they won it on a coin toss, and I hate it. I hate it. And I know if the Bucs defense would have stepped up in overtime, dude, if you're an 8-0 team and you're a defending Super Bowl champion, you should have been able to put away the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home on Monday Night Football with Cade Otton, Sterling Shepard as your 1-2 punch as pass catchers. Like, come on. I don't see it with this Kansas City team. I don't fucking see it. In my opinion, that was the best game Mahomes played all year, and the ragtag beat up Buccaneers still took them to overtime. Zolo, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not seeing with Kansas City. They might gel, right? They might gel in a different way, but this is the problem with this year compared to last year. Maybe the Ravens might have taken a little step back, but the top part of the AFC is better this year than it was last year, whether it's the Bills. You can make a case for the Ravens, the Steelers. Like, I think all of those teams could give the current state of the Chiefs, a run, and I don't think Kansas City can beat any of the top teams in the NFC at the moment. Between Lions, Packers, I don't know, maybe even the Vikings, the Eagles, the Commanders, anyone in the West. I know they just beat the Niners, but I don't love what I'm seeing out of Kansas City. I think that they're only in the game luckily because of a couple crazy DeAndre Hopkins grabs and lack of stops on third down. I think if it doesn't rain, it might be a completely different game for Tampa, the way they were running the ball effectively. I don't know. I don't see it with things. They're doing the rope-a-dope, right? It's working right now. You're 7-0. You have a 2-game lead over the next team in front of you, but you have a tough schedule. At some point, you're going to have to play the Steelers. You're going to have to play the Bills. The Chargers aren't going to be slouches next time you get them, and they're equipped to beat you. They run the ball, and they play defense. They're equipped to beat you, and if they didn't lose their quarterback the first time around, Herbert got injured in that game, could have been looking at a different outcome. I don't love the Chiefs right now. I don't love what I'm seeing out of the Chiefs.
I don't love the Chiefs either. And at some point, my God, it's probably not going to catch up to them because their schedule the rest of the way is easy. It's a cakewalk. They're going to finish as the 1 seed in the AFC and then hopefully get blown up in the playoffs. Hopefully.
We said that last year, and credit to them, they won back-to-back massive road games. The road didn't go through Arrowhead, and they still won. So it's a matter of if one of those two teams that they lost to last year, which is the Ravens and Bills, who are the best shots to beat the Chiefs, if one of those two teams gets it together, who knows? But that might be asking a lot right now.
Altiverse in the chat. I agree with you. When the Bucs are healthy, they probably are a top 5 team.
Yeah, I mean, they beat the Lions.
Without question.
They beat the Lions at Ford Field, and then they took the Chiefs to the wire without Evans, without Godwin, with some injuries, right?
I mean, Baker's an MVP candidate right now.
Gotta be.
No questions asked. And yeah, I know the Chiefs are not performing at their best and they're still 8-0, but why are they not performing at their best? Why? What else do you need to perform at your best?
Altiverse, we're not haters. They're just not, like, if you're seeing a product that you can sink your teeth into and say, oh, they're gonna win the Super Bowl, I don't see it. Like, I don't see it over a lot of teams at the moment. That's not hating. You can be 8-0 like the Eagles were last year, and then collapse. Happens all the time. You can be 17-0 and then go on to lose the Super Bowl. It's happened once before.
Agreed. Okay. We have a Thursday night matchup this week to discuss very briefly. And I guess we'll pick it because we won't see you guys again before Thursday. And it's a big matchup. Cincinnati's heading to Baltimore to play the Ravens in a divisional game. Baltimore's a 6.5-point favorite right now. The over-under is 53. Zolo, how do you see this panning out?
Ravens.
The only reason I'm going to say Cincinnati here because I'm not in love with them right now, like I usually am, is it's a divisional game. It's going to be very emotional for both of them, and Cincinnati is due to win. That's it.
The matchup to watch for me, which was it was chaos last time, is Ravens pass D versus Bengals passing offense, right? Did you figure it out in the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever it was? Did you figure it out to the point where you can get these guys to play well? I don't know. Tre'Davious White probably won't play, right? They're not going to play him on short rests.
No, but you don't have T. Higgins either.
Yeah, and Jermaine Burton's still messing around.
T. Higgins, doubtful. Zach Moss, doubtful. Isaiah Likely, doubtful.
All I can tell you is I like Joe Burrow in overpassing attempts.
Yeah. Whatever the lines are on Joe Burrow, you hit it. Hit it, and hit it hard. Bruce, who you got?
The Ravens.
You got the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to roll with Cincinnati. Okay, real quick, we have somebody begging for help in the chat.
I agree with Blong. Hey, that's my pick for the Super Bowl.
ETN and Smith, I have no running back. Are ETN and Swift, I have no running back, ? Help. I don't understand your question. Please rephrase. Jake Ferguson and CMC for Bijan. No. Hold Christian McCaffrey. Hold Christian. Why does everybody want to trade Christian McCaffrey?
I think that you can separate the emotional attachment. Blong says y'all setup is crazy. Shout out to Blong. I think you can separate the emotional attachment from McCaffrey at this point if you drafted him, unless you're in first place. You're like, okay, here we go.
Right.
You can separate. So that's why people are like, should I trade him? Should I trade him? Should I trade him? Because they're thinking like, well, I haven't needed him for this long. Let me see what I can get for him. I'm having a deja vu right now. Sorry for the brain farts.
Blong in the chat. What should I do with CD now that Dak's gone?
I don't know. It depends where you stand. Like, do you need wins right now? I still think CD is going to be effective. The question mark on CD is his injury at the moment, right? He's a little banged up. Sounds like he's going to play. He went back into the game, and he could play with an AC joint sprain. But I think you're just kind of waiting around until...
This one's interesting.
Yeah.
Do I do Gibbs and Cooper for Pacheco, Mike Evans, and Josh Jacobs? I got to go out on a limb and say is that Cooper Kupp or Amari Cooper? Tell us if that's Cooper Kupp or Amari Cooper. Does it make a difference?
I think it does. I think it's Amari Cooper. And yes,
it's Amari Cooper.
I would do that.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Same drill that I've been mentioning. The theme of the show in the fantasy chat is where do you stand, right? If you can afford to sit on Mike Evans and Pacheco, then yes, because those guys can come back and win you the league when they get back.
Hunt and Reed for Scary Terry. Kareem Hunt, Jaden Reed for Scary Terry. Yes. Get Scary Terry, man. Buy in on him now.
Sell high on Jaden Reed if you can.
I agree.
Because in order to win games, they're going to actually have to get the ball in the air to Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs and Kraft and all those guys.
Blong again. Should I start Jaden Daniels or Joe Burrow? The one person that I'd probably start over Jaden Daniels is Joe Burrow.
Agreed.
I love you all, and thank you guys so much for hitting us up in the chat. But we are out of time for today. We're out of time. Is there anything that we need to address before we leave? We're coming back Friday. Join us again on Friday. Hit the follow button. Stick with us on TikTok. YouTube, we did not forget about you. We know you're there.
Blong, like and subscribe and come back and ask us questions
back on Friday.
We make game picks on Friday. We give you props on Friday.
Picks, fantasy help, everything will be here Friday. Come back, join us, follow. You get notified when we go live. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow our Instagram at TipBalls. The link is there. Join us. Join us. Friday's going to be a great show. I can already feel it. We will be back.
We got you, Blong. We got you on the sports betting tips. We'll be back.
Do you have anything to add?
No, go vote. If you're able to vote,
Yeah, get out and vote.
go vote. There's
Get out
still
and vote.
a couple hours.
A little bit of time.
I'm going right now if that makes a difference.
Bruce, anything to add?
No,
Bruce got to get to the gym.
No, I wish.
No gym today?
No gym today.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Make sure to follow our socials, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls, TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast. We are live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, except today because it's trade deadline special. Sometime around 5. You can watch us live on YouTube. Join us in the chat. Ask all your fantasy questions, props, picks, bets, all of it right there on TikTok. If you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube yet, though, you need to. Click subscribe, ring that bell so you get notified when we go live. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back Friday with a Power Pack show.